welcome back to my channel. My name is Anna, and it's our favorite time of the year, the mid-year freak out book tag. And this is my first time actually doing it, so I'm very excited. But also, it's a little bit scary because what do you mean it's June? Like, it's halfway through the year 2025, only 6 months left to this year. Like, that is completely insane. I know we always say this, but it's so true. Like, time passes so freaking fast. I don't know, it's just kind of scary, and there's a huge heat wave in my country, in Portugal, and honestly, like, I am dying, okay? I am dying. I don't understand how people say summer is their favorite season. Like, what do you mean? What do you mean this is your favorite season? Like, I cannot breathe, people. I cannot breathe. I'm sweating through every single crevice of my body. That's disgusting. I'm sorry, that was disgusting, but seriously, like, what do you mean summer is your favorite holiday? Like, I am convinced that if you like summer and summer is your favorite season, you are a certified psychopath. Like, there is no other way because, I don't know, I'm crashing out, okay?
It's a mental breakdown.
I'm literally crashing out. Like, I cannot breathe for the life of me. It is way too hot. But anyways, let's just jump right into this mid-year freak out book tag because I'm really excited to be doing this for the first time ever. So the first question is, what is the best book you've read so far in 2025? And for that, I will have to say A Game of Thrones. And I'm just loving this. As you know, I've been filming reading vlogs for you guys, and I'm loving every single moment of it, every single second. I just cannot believe that I haven't read this sooner because Game of Thrones is truly amazing. Like, it's one of the best fantasy series that I've read, political fantasy that I've ever read in my life. Like, this is amazing. This is not overrated, and now I understand fully why people love this series because it is just so good. It's so well written. All of the characters, the story, the world building, everything is just done with the utmost care that I don't know, I'm just flabbergasted, I'm bamboozled, and I'm so angry that I have not read this sooner, that I didn't pick up this series sooner because, oh my god, this is amazing. I eat it up. I'm currently reading A Storm of Swords. I think I'm 58% through, and of course, I'm just loving it. Question number 2 is best sequel you've read so far in 2025, and I also have to say A Clash of Kings. Okay, people, it was just amazing. It's honestly, here's the thing, is it my favorite book? No, because I'm reading A Storm of Swords, and A Storm of Swords is even better than A Clash of Kings, okay? But A Clash of Kings was for sure the best sequel that I've read this year by far. I haven't read a lot of series this year, which is kind of strange for me. I don't know why. It's just Game of Thrones is really taking, a lot of my time. The books are very hefty, they're very long, and I'm a slow reader, so it's gonna take me a while to go through them. But A Clash of Kings for sure. It was just everything that Game of Thrones had, but 10 times more. Like, the stakes were higher, the characters were even more unhinged. You had so many things happening left and right, and it's so weird how Game of Thrones can feel so slow paced, but there's always something happening. There's always an important conversation, an important, reflection, monologue. Everything is important to the story, and that's why it doesn't really feel that slow in my opinion, although it's like 1,000 pages. There's always something that we need to know. There's always something that needs to be discussed, and that's what I absolutely loved about A Clash of Kings. Third question, a new release you haven't read yet, but you want to. And for me, I think it has to be The Devils by Joe Abercrombie. I still haven't read it, and I don't really have the best relationship with Joe Abercrombie because I think it was last year or 2 years ago, I cannot remember. I think it was last year that I read the First Law trilogy, and I didn't really like it. I just thought it was mediocre. I don't really understand the hype behind Joe Abercrombie. I didn't really like his world building. I didn't like the story. His writing was okay. It was much more character-driven story, which is something that I'm not really into. It's not really my personal thing. I like to have a little bit of everything, world building, story, characters, all of that. But even the characters, I couldn't like them all. And I know you're not supposed to, but God, I was not rooting for almost any character. I hated Jezal. I did not like Artie. I did not like Bayaz. Ferro was annoying. The only 2 characters that I liked were Logan and Glokta. Glokta was my favorite, okay? Glokta, literally a person that tortures people for a living. That's what he does. And he's my favorite character. But it was just so mediocre, and I didn't really understand the hype. But I am excited to read The Devils because I think this one is supposed to be much more funny and much more comedic, and you're supposed to have, a bunch of different characters set in some sort of situation. I don't know much about it because I don't want to know much about it, but I am excited to read this book by Joe Abercrombie because I feel like I'm going to like this one more than the First Law trilogy. And the fourth question is most anticipated release for the second half of the year. And honestly, I don't have. I really don't have. I think the sequel to The Will of the Many is coming out in November, if I'm not mistaken. Oh my god, I lied. Okay, I lied. I do have one that I remember. In November, I think the last book of the Empire of the Vampire trilogy is coming out, which I don't know the name. I completely forgot the name, but it's going to be here. And is this the best trilogy that I've ever read? Am I obsessed with this trilogy? No, I am not. You know, the second book was quite a disappointment. It was just a 3 stars. It was just way too long for what it was. I didn't really enjoy the story at all. The characters, there was a lot of development, and I did like that. But the story was just not my cup of tea. I just think it was so long for no reason. But I am excited to see its conclusion because I do want to know what the characters are going to do after everything that happened in the second book, because the ending, the last 100 pages were amazing, and that's why I'm just so freaking excited for the third book. But if I do manage to read The Will of the Many, because I really wanted to get to it this year, I don't know if I am, but if I do manage to read The Will of the Many and I end up loving it like most people do, because fingers crossed I love that book, then that will also be another release that I'm excited for in November. 5th question, biggest disappointment. Now, this one is controversial, but I'm going to say it anyways. Wind and Truth by Brandon Sanderson. Listen, people, this was a 3 star, okay? It was not amazing. I felt like the pacing was all over the place. It wasn't that great. You know, the pacing was just so slow. And I think Sanderson also tried to do way too much in a short amount of time, in the sense of they had, you know, the Contest of Champions in 10 days. 10 days, and they had to do so many things in those 10 days that it didn't feel rushed, because everything that was happening didn't really matter to the plot. You know, a lot of the characters like Kaladin or Shallan, all of those plot lines, they just did not matter until the last 200 pages of the book, which is something that I absolutely hate and despise, because it always felt like, you know, reading their chapters were so useless. But 10 days is also so little time to prepare for a contest with a god. You know what I'm saying? So the pacing to me was just all over the place. I felt like some plot lines didn't really make any sense until the last 200 pages, which was something that really aggravated me. Now, were the last 100 pages amazing? In my opinion, they were. I loved the ending. I think it was really satisfying. I think all of the character arcs had a satisfying ending. I'm satisfied with everything, but the pacing was just bad. Okay, the pacing was bad. I don't know what happened with Brandon Sanderson, because he wrote Words of Radiance. That book is peak to me. That is the best book of the Stormlight Archive by far. One of the best books I've read in my entire life. And then he writes Wind and Truth.
2 plus 2 is 4, right? And 5 plus 5 is 10. Okay. What the fuck is this? I didn't see.
Which is something that I just cannot understand. My mind cannot fathom how that is possible. But that was definitely my biggest disappointment of the year, because I was expecting this epic ending with all of these big stakes, and that's not what I had. Question number 6, my biggest surprise. And honestly, this one is surprising. Duh. Divine Rivals. Now, did I like this book? Not really. I gave it 2.75 stars, so it wasn't amazing, but I liked it more than I thought I would, and that to me was such a huge surprise, because, you know, I'm not a romantasy girly. I don't like romantasy. I don't like romance in my books. I don't care for them. But this book I actually enjoyed. I loved the setting. I think, you know, was it the most amazing thing? No, it's not, because it's very reminiscent to World War I. But the author just managed to have and to just like craft this atmosphere so magical, with all of the, you know, typewriters, with coffee, with the candles. Just, she romanticized everything when it comes to writing, and I just absolutely loved that. I loved how magical everything felt. The story was okay. It was meh. It's not even, you know, that focused on the story. It's more focused on both of the characters and their relationship. They are not enemies to lovers, okay, people? Do not go into this book thinking they are enemies to lovers. No, they are not. People just slam that term now, that trope, in anything because it sells. But it is rivals to lovers. They start as rivals, you know, trying to find a position in the Gazette, and they end up as lovers. So it is rivals to lovers, okay? Not enemies to lovers. But I didn't expect to like this book as much. I was reading it just because I won it in the giveaway, if I'm being completely honest. And I was completely surprised when I was like, you know what? I actually do not hate this. Because I did like both characters, and I did like their journey and how much they care for each other and everything that they would do just to be next to each other. It was so cute. It was so endearing. It is, you know, hard to read because it does talk about a lot, you know, of aspects and consequences of the war. So be careful with that, but it's still a great book. I think if you do like romance, and if you like slow burn and rivals to lovers, you're going to like this book a lot. But because it's not really my thing, it was just a 2.75, but still better than what I thought it was going to be. Question number 7, favorite new author, and obviously it has to be George R. R. Martin. I'm sorry, like I've been saying, I'm obsessed with A Song of Ice and Fire. I'm loving all of these books. I'm having the time of my life reading them. You know, I wake up at 6 a.m., people. I wake up at 6 a.m. and the first thing that I want to do is pick up these books because no one is bothering me at that time and I can just read slowly and just absorb everything that is being written and told to us because George R. R. Martin has such an amazing prose. He knows how to write and I just love it, okay? I just love reading it. So obviously, George R. R. Martin is my favorite new author this year. And now number 8, new fictional crush. Now, I don't really have fictional crushes. It's very hard for me when it comes to books to have a book boyfriend or crushes, but if I do have to pick one, it has to be Jon Snow, okay? Yes, I am basic like that. It has to be Jon Snow. He is such a good boy, okay? He is an amazing boy. He is so cute. He is so honorable, and it does help that he is good looking. And one of the things that I've been finding a little bit funny is the fact that I've never really watched the show, but I do know the characters, obviously, because social media. And all of the characters, I imagine them from the series. Like, I cannot not imagine the people from the show, the actress from the show. Okay, sorry, just wait a minute. Oh my god. So, yeah, I do imagine Jon Snow as being the actor from the show Game of Thrones, okay? And he is very good looking, so I cannot complain. But if I did have to pick someone as my crush, it would have to be Jon Snow. Question number 9, newest favorite character, and for this one, I do also have to pick one from A Song of Ice and Fire, and that has to be the most basic answer anyone can give, which is Tyrion Lannister from A Song of Ice and Fire. I love him, okay? I absolutely love him. I love how witty he is. I love how he can just, think of the greatest quips. Such a fast way. It's just amazing, okay? I just love his personality. I love how he doesn't let anyone bring him down, although he is, a dwarf, and that is so not well seen. People are so quick to hate on him, to judge him, to call him a monster, think that he is less just because he's a dwarf, but he doesn't let any of those words and any of those people bring him down. He's always, equipped with something. That's why he reads so much, because he understands, okay, I cannot serve my father as a knight, I cannot bring him glory, but I can be smart and use my brain and actually, manage everything, and that's what he's learned. He's learned how to read people, how to, adapt to a certain situation, and he is just amazing in my opinion. I absolutely love his personality, and I do want to be like him. Question number 10, a book that made you cry. Although I did not like Wind and Truth, the ending made me cry, okay? I was so, torn apart. I was just so sad with Kaladin's ending and Dalinar's ending. Okay, specifically Dalinar, because his entire journey was just so inspiring to see. He's such an inspiring character in my opinion. Like, he inspires me so much. I am always so motivated when I think about him, because his entire journey from being the Blackthorn and wanting to be something else and wanting to be a man that didn't use a sword to solve all of his problems, that didn't use violence to solve everything, that didn't need to, beat his way through the top, that he just chose compassion and empathy. He chose to learn how to read, learn how to write, even though that was something considered so feminine. He didn't mind. He wanted truly to be someone completely different. He wanted to be a better man, and he managed that. And that's why I cried at the end, okay, because I think he deserved better. Dalinar definitely deserved better. It was a good ending, and I am satisfied with his character arc, but it was still, a little bit painful to read about, because I was so proud of him. I was so proud of him and all of his progress and everything that he achieved while trying to change. And just the way that it ended, it was fitting, but also sad. Question 11, a book that made me happy. And for this one, I do have a physical copy, which is Letters to a Young Poet by Rainer Maria Hulk. I still don't know how to say his name, okay? But this bad boy, it made me so happy. I loved it, okay? And I do have a dedicated reading vlog for this book, and I just loved it, okay? I absolutely loved it, and it is being used as my fan, okay? Which I love it even more for. But I just loved it, okay? If you need advice in life, please read this book, because Hulk knows what he's talking about. He's not just compassionate, he truly understands life, because he's old, and he really says that. He's like, I'm old, that's why I understand about life. You are so young that it's completely normal that you don't understand life, because you have not lived it. You are still so young, you can't understand everything. There is not, a book or a manual for you to learn how to live or how to function. That comes with age, and even when you're old like me, you still don't know everything. And that's why you have to live the questions for now, which is one of the best quotes from this entire book. And it's only 52 pages, people, okay? It's 52 pages, but I promise you that this is going to give you so much sound advice, and it's going to make you really, really happy, because this left me beaming. I just loved it, just this 1 hour reading this book left me, it just completely changed my life. It completely changed my brain chemistry, it improved my life, it improved my crops, it improved everything in my life. Trust me on this one. Please read this, because you are going to be so happy when you finish reading this. Question 12. The most beautiful book you've bought so far this year or received. And I bought this book because I sold a book that I had, and I bought Frankenstein by Junji Ito. Just look at this, okay, people? Yep.
Talented, brilliant, incredible, amazing, show-stopping, spectacular, never the same, totally unique, completely not ever been done before, unafraid to reference or not reference, put it in a blender, shit on it, vomit on it, eat it, give birth to it.
This is it. Like, this cover is just absolutely stunning. It's amazing. I just love this so much, and the back, you know, it's kind of normal, but I just love this, okay? And I'm really excited to read this book because obviously I'm going to be reading this in Halloween, the day of Halloween, you know, the 31st, and I'm really trying to read this at like 2 a.m. just so it gets even spookier. But I absolutely love this book. I love Junji Ito's books. I love the covers. I just think they give off such a creepy vibe, which obviously this is what we're here for. We are here for the horror, for the creepiness, for the goriness, for the body horror, which is what he's known for. But his stories are actually really good, and my favorite so far has been Uzumaki. So if you want to check it out, please check it out. The cover is also stunning and amazing, but this is definitely the most beautiful book that I've bought this year. And lastly, question 13, what books do you need to read by the end of this year? Obviously, I will have to say A Song of Ice and Fire because it was actually one of my goals this year to read A Song of Ice and Fire. They are 5 books, and it obviously is very feasible. It's just, I don't know, I'm just very slow. You know, I started reading these, I think it was back in January, people, and now it's June, and I'm still in the 3rd book. Like I said, I am such a slow reader, so I'm trying to aim, you know, finishing this series probably in September. So this is one series that I really need to finish. And other books that I do have to read is finishing the Cosmere. So that means I have to read The Silent Man and 2 novellas that I think are Six of Dust. And I don't know the other one, okay? I think it's something Forests of whatever. So I'm going to put the covers here, okay? But I definitely need to read these books so I can finish the Cosmere. I know Isles of Emerdark is coming out in September, so I will also have to read that one. So these are my most, you know, urgent goals because I really wanted to finish up the Cosmere this year, which is insane to say. By the way, okay, it's really insane because I started my journey with the Cosmere, I think it was 2022, when I read the Mistborn trilogy. And just thinking about ending it, oh my god, like it's so crazy to think about ending the Cosmere, but it's just one of the goals that I have for this year, and obviously finish A Song of Ice and Fire. So all of those books will have to be read so I can complete 2 of my most important, relevant, you know, at the top of my list, priority list goals this year. And this was the video, guys, and I had so much fun filming this mid-year freak out book tag. I just love to know and to see, you know, the amazing books that I've read, everything that I have read throughout the entirety of the year, because I do forget sometimes. And I think it was 2 weeks ago, I was having, you know, a little bit of an anxiety crisis because I was like, oh my god, like I'm not reading that much, and the books I'm reading, they're not that great. I don't really have a lot of 5 stars, but I do, you know. The entirety of Song of Ice and Fire is 5 stars, and even though I had, you know, some disappointments, it's okay, it is what it is. But I just had so much fun filming this, and I cannot wait. I don't want to say I cannot wait for next year because I don't want, you know, another year to pass so fast. But I will be definitely filming these every single year because it's just so much fun, like I said, okay? And I loved doing this. And that's it for this video, guys. I will see you in my next video. Bye!